What is structured water? Well, a lot like a quartz crystal, whose silicon dioxide molecules join together to form a matrix, water's hydrogen dioxide molecules can also join together in hexagonally structured matrices. But unlike quartz, the matrices are flexible and they move independently because they're not glued together by the protons. And the majority of water in your body is structured water. In fact, as biophysicist Dr. Mei-Wan Ho discovered, when water is structured, it behaves with a principle of quantum coherence, which allows it to communicate over vast distances instantaneously, faster than the speed of light. Now, comparing it to a computer makes it sound regrettably like an inanimate object, but in a way it is similar. It's not an exact analogy, but you can think of the hydrogen and oxygen atoms as being kind of like the ones and zeros in a computer program that allows information to be stored and transmitted. Absolutely every piece of computer data in the world, the whole internet, every cat picture in existence is just made of ones and zeros arranged in a particular way. And all of the water in the world is just hydrogen and oxygen, and it carries the entire memory of the entire history of the universe. Now, of course, we all know that quartz is used in electronics like watches and computers because of its ability to store and transmit information via piezoelectric energy, which acts as a stabilizing and oscillating resonator. But what you might not realize is that, just like water, quartz crystals are also arranged in a hexagonal lattice. And while water is H2O, dihydrogen oxide, quartz is SiO2, silicon dioxide, they're similar in so many ways. So when we talk about structured water, you can think of it as being kind of like a quartz crystal. And this is why Dr. Roy calls water the world's most malleable computer. And the majority of water in pristine nature is also somewhat structured, because in nature, the spiral motion of rivers and streams and springs and the geomagnetic influences of aquifers, etc., keep these matrices intact. But unfortunately, due to rerouted riverways and pollution, wild waterways in nature are no longer as crystalline as they once were, because water loses its structure when it becomes stagnant, heated, polluted, treated with chemicals, put through filters or pressurized pipes, or forced to flow in straight lines or right angles. So that's water structure basics 101. Now let's dive a little bit deeper. Dr. Rustam Roy, one of the world's foremost water structure experts, explained it like this. He said molecular structure is like the alphabet of water, and the molecules are like the letters. But when water is unstructured, what Dr. Gerald Pollack calls bulk water, then it's just a nonsensical jumble of letters like alphabet soup. In bulk water, the hydrogen bonds between H2O molecules form and break apart billions of times per second, so there's no time for them to snuggle up and talk to each other. But if the water is structured, then suddenly the letters fit together. And depending on how they're arranged, just like with the alphabet, they can carry an infinite amount of information. Only 26 letters can comprise all of the sonnets of Shakespeare, and only 3 atoms, 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen, can carry all of the living memories of the universe. Now, each cluster of water molecules has at least 440,000 panels on it, and each one is responsible for sensing, storing, and transmitting information about its environment. So when all of the molecules are joined together in a hexagonal lattice, when they form a crystalline structure, water transforms from a random liquid into a sentient and sensitive being. According to Dr. Wolfgang Ludwig, structuring water can increase the strength of the hydrogen bonds between 20 to 250 times. So let's explore exactly how water becomes more structured. Well, how does nature structure water? We always want to mimic nature, and in nature, movement is the most critical factor. Water is nearly never stagnant in nature. It's always moving through phases, cycling through the hydrological cycle, and incarnating in and out of plant and animal bodies. Now, all movement helps to some extent, from turbulence to cascades, but spiral motion is the most effective flow in creating this living crystalline water. When all of the molecules flow freely together in a spiral, it becomes a vortex, and we see vortexes everywhere in nature. In the northern hemisphere, water spirals mostly counterclockwise, and in the southern hemisphere, mostly clockwise, like a planetary scale toroid of water movement patterns. In cyclones and in water down a drain, in the way that a plant grows, in spiral Fibonacci patterns, and in natural rivers, which have a horizontal spiral flow in the stream that keeps water healthy. And each time water flows over an obstacle like a stone in a stream, it doesn't just flow over it in a linear way. If you were to slow it down and study its motion, it actually causes cavitation that creates innumerable inner vortices as it tumbles over rocks and down waterfalls. And each time it does so, it creates nanobubbles within the stream, which allow the water to breathe and exchange gases like oxygen and carbonic acid. And the presence of nanobubbles also maintains the structural integrity of the water molecules. And in springs, the water is drawn up to the surface from the aquifer by the pull of lunar gravity in a vortexing spiral that structures it and gives it ionic charge on the way up. Now, water can also be structured by hydrophilic surfaces, such as those found throughout the inner landscape of your body, because all your cell membranes, your collagen, etc., they're all hydrophilic or water-loving. So they automatically create higher structural coherence in your internal biowater. Radiant energy like sunlight and near-infrared, except be careful with this one because temperature is also a factor, and heat can loosen the hydrogen bonds, whereas cold keeps them stable. Magnetism plays a big role. Underground water is kept in geomagnetic rock formations and underground lakes or aquifers. Piezoelectric pressure can also do so, which is also found inside your body. Epitaxy and transference can also structure water. This is where a solid or liquid that's highly ordered like a crystal will bring more order and structure to any random bulk water that it's near. Also, nanocolloids can do so. So Dr. Henry Coanda discovered that colloids have a strong electrical charge and act like a microscopic little seed of electrical charge that attracts water molecules. You can think of them as like tiny nuclei that build up little liquid crystal hexagonal water molecules around themselves. Now, not all colloids do this, only certain ones that have a really stable electrical charge. So how do you structure the water yourself? Well, the best combo of ease, convenience, and effectiveness are through natural actions devices. They have portable structures and whole home revitalizers and shower units and even pool water structures. They are flow forms that are based on nature's movement patterns, which cause the water, again, to cascade into inner vortices. So pouring water through the flow form not only gives water a beautiful crystallinity and structure, it also helps to aerate the water so that it holds more oxygen. Now, after being vortexed through the structured water portable unit, your oxygenated water becomes anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, boosts the immune system, and accelerates recovery. Plus, the water is crystalline, so it's far more bioavailable and energetically vibrant, translating to more hydroelectric energy for your cells. Our vitality is a direct measure of our hydration. We are bodies of water, again, after all. So high-quality water means high-quality health. It's not enough to just make sure that our water is clean. It needs to also be structured. As Dr. Gerald Pollack said, indeed, structured water could turn out to be the wonder drug of the 21st century. Structured water brings more energy and clarity because it has higher photonic and bioenergetic fields. It helps reduce toxins and free radicals in the body. It helps your body with nutrient absorption, improves your circulation, reduces inflammation, increases energy, and overall just has a tonic and adaptogenic effect on every system of your body. Personally, I take my portable structure everywhere. The next step I want you to think about is how you're storing your water. Now, we talked a bit about this in the section on spring water, and we'll go a little bit more in depth now because how you store your water determines whether it will be able to keep its structure. Now, people go to very great lengths to store their wine really well, right? Folks have dark glass and temperature-controlled basement wine cellars and sommelier trainings on how to age wine well. So shouldn't we have at least the same respect for the liquid that actually gives us life? But people actually keep their water in plastic bottles in the backseat of the car. It boggles my mind. So if you need to store quantities of water that have to stay stagnant for a while, you want to keep it chilled, ideally. The cooler it is, the easier it can maintain the integrity of the hydrogen bonds. And then you want to keep it in a glass container, not plastic. Water structure is one of the most crucial factors in the overall health and vitality of your drinking water. And structured water also absorbs into your body much more readily and gives you far deeper intracellular hydration. So stay tuned for the next module, where we're going to discuss balancing our water. After all, once any contaminants have been filtered out, and once we've created a structural matrix in the water, we want to fill that matrix up with really good, healthy, balanced qualities. So I'll see you in the next session, where we're going to cover how to restore balance to your water. Meanwhile, have a great day and stay hydrated.